Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring a deeply universal human experience, but honestly, we're going to look at it through a lens you've probably never considered before. We always picture our ancient ancestors fighting off woolly mammoths or, running from saber-toothed cats, but we rarely stop to think about what happened when they got their hearts broken. Well, it turns out, heartbreak is not some modern luxury. It isn't just a byproduct of rom-coms, pop songs, or social media. As we're going to see today, heartbreak is actually an ancient, hardwired biological survival tool, and it's been shaping human destiny for hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to start by looking at the shared pain of ancient and modern humans. Then we'll unpack the biology of survival, see how heartbreak acts as a crucial reset button, explore the healing power of the tribe, review some undeniable archaeological evidence, and finally, wrap up with resilience and human evolution. Alright, Section 1, Shared Pain, Ancient and Modern, A Tale of Two Eras. To really get this, we need to completely bridge the gap between our modern world and the world of our ancestors. I want you to imagine walking through a freezing, dark cave tens of thousands of years ago. You're holding a broken piece of flint, staring into the embers of a dying fire, literally agonizing over why the person you loved chose someone else from the tribe. Now fast forward to today. You're sitting in a room, bathed in the glow of a smartphone screen, reading a final text message. Now visually, obviously these two moments could not be more different, but biologically, they are identical. That agonizing feeling of losing a partner, that heavy emptiness in your chest, it is exactly the same today as it was back in the Pleistocene epoch. No difference at all, which brings up a fascinating question, and one that kind of flips how we view our emotions completely upside down. Why would nature design us to feel so much agony over a failed relationship? Evolution is incredibly efficient, right? It doesn't waste energy on useless systems. So why create an emotional response that leaves us feeling utterly paralyzed? To find out, let's move to Section 2, the biology of survival and heartbreak, and the chemistry of connection. The answer actually lies in the really harsh biological reality of our ancient world. Back then, connection wasn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It was the fundamental chemistry of survival. When an early human fell in love, their brain absolutely rewarded them with massive hits of dopamine and oxytocin. This was the ultimate survival glue, making sure partners stayed fiercely bonded to protect their kids. But when that bond broke, the sudden withdrawal of those feel-good chemicals caused an immediate, devastating crash. The brain literally flooded the body with cortisol and adrenaline. Actually, modern neuroscience shows us that romantic rejection activates the exact same neural pathways that light up when you suffer a severe physical injury. We're talking like a broken bone or a deep burn. To your primitive brain, a broken heart is a literal physical emergency. And it was an emergency for a very real, very practical reason. Look, if you were a lone human wandering the ancient world without a partner or a tribe, your chances of surviving the week were pretty much a zero. You absolutely needed cooperation to hunt for food, gather resources, keep that fire burning through the freezing nights, and fend off predators. Evolution made love feel amazing so we would stay together, and it made heartbreak feel like physical agony so we'd do absolutely everything in our power to avoid being left alone. But here is where we hit a massive evolutionary twist. Let's look at Section 3, Heartbreak as a Reset Button, Learning from Emotional Pain. You'd probably assume that flooding the body with agonizing stress hormones would make an ancient human just curl up into a ball and give up, right? Well, anthropologists believe the exact opposite happened. Heartbreak actually acted as a crucial behavioral reset button. When that chemical alarm went off, our ancestors entered a state of hyper-awareness. The immense physical pain essentially forced them to stop and reflect. Did they fail to provide enough food? Did they misread crucial social signals within the tribe? It was a harsh, brutal teacher for sure. But this painful self-reflection forced early humans to learn from their social missteps, rapidly adapt, and ultimately become much smarter, far more capable partners for the next relationship. Of course, learning from your mistakes takes time, and that immediate, day-to-day agony still had to be managed. So, on to Section 4, the healing power of tribe, community as the ancient remedy. How did they survive that misery? They obviously didn't have modern distractions, no sad music playlists, no tubs of ice cream, no doom scrolling on social media to numb the pain. Instead, they turned to the one thing that could rival the power of love, the community. And this brilliantly illustrates the true purpose of the ancient tribe. It wasn't just for physical protection from predators, it was the ultimate emotional buffer. When someone suffered a deep emotional loss, the community literally stepped in. They'd gather around the campfire to share the emotional burden. They engaged in communal storytelling, shared food, and most importantly, they participated in synchronized singing and dancing. We know now that group singing and synchronized movement release massive amounts of endorphins and oxytocin. The tribe was literally rebuilding the broken-hearted ancestors' depleted brain chemistry through their collective energy. It's just incredible. Moving right along to Section 5. Archaeological evidence of emotional depth beyond basic instincts. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but were ancient humans really this emotionally complex? We tend to have this misconception that early humans were just simple, brutal creatures, driven only by basic survival instincts. But the hard physical proof tells a totally different story. Deep inside caves across Europe and Asia, researchers have found intricate carvings depicting faces with expressions of profound, unmistakable sorrow. We've unearthed ancient graves where two people were carefully buried together, their arms intertwined for eternity. We've even found single individuals laid to rest with delicate flowers and precious beads. These findings are absolute proof that ancient humans felt grief, love, and that deep emptiness with the exact same emotional intensity that we feel today. Which brings us to our final chapter, Section 6, Resilience and Human Evolution, the Strength to Love Again. So, knowing the incredible weight of this ancient sorrow, how did they find the strength to move forward? Well, the answer highlights the absolute greatest superpower of our species, our unmatched adaptability and resilience. You see, human beings are uniquely designed to find meaning in suffering. Over time, as those high stress levels faded and brain chemistry stabilized, the deep urge to survive took over again. Our ancient ancestors realized that even though one specific romantic bond had broken, the larger web of tribal connections remained completely intact. They found new purpose in protecting the community, crafting tools, and contributing to the group. And it's this exact resilience that allowed them to adapt, heal, and eventually open their hearts all over again to form new families. And the most crucial point is this specific number, 100%. Think about this for a second. You and I are only here today because our ancient ancestors successfully survived their heartbreaks. Literally, 100% of us alive right now are the direct descendants of someone who had their heart completely shattered, felt that devastating physical and emotional pain, gathered their strength through the support of their tribe, and made the incredibly brave choice to pass on their genes and love again anyway. How amazing is that? And I think this reveals a truly beautiful truth about our biology. Heartbreak is not a flaw in the human design. It's not a mistake, and it is definitely not a sign of weakness. It is simply the necessary tax we pay for our incredible ability to form deep, meaningful connections with one another. When you experience it, you're not breaking down, you're actively participating in a sacred, ancient human ritual, one that is testing your resilience and forcing you to grow. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you feel that familiar, heavy ache of a broken heart, take a deep breath and try to look back through the long lens of time. Will you recognize the ancient, resilient survivor hiding right there within your own instincts? Just like that distant ancestor sitting by the campfire, surrounded by the rhythm of their tribe, you are hardwired to heal, to adapt, and to survive. Thanks so much for exploring this remarkable piece of human history with us in this explainer. See you next time.